In today's video, I'm going to be giving my honest review and summary on the newest Hunger Games book, The Sunrise on the Reaping. The Hunger Games series is one of my absolute favorite book series and movie series of all time. So I was super excited to see that they came out with another book. This book is based all about Haymitch's time in the Hunger Games. Before I get started with this overall summary and review, I do want to say that there might be a couple of spoilers in this book, so if you haven't read the book and you don't want anything to be spoiled, then I highly suggest coming back to this after you've read the book. I also wanted to say that if you do not have a copy of this book and you want one, I do have a link in the description box where you can check this up, and it's available in a digital or physical format. Alright, so like I said in the beginning, this book talks about Haymitch's time in the Hunger Games. It tells all about his life story, his upbringing, and it gives really good insights to some of the things that he does in the other series and books. So for example, we all know that Haymitch was a drunk in the Hunger Games, and this book kind of explains where that came from. It also deep dives into Haymitch's family and his upbringing, which I love that as well. This book will keep you hooked from beginning to end, I promise you. It is so good that at times I didn't want to stop reading, and I literally finished this book in 1 week exactly. Every single time that I had a chance, I picked this up and was reading it. So I promise you, you guys will love it, especially if you love all the Hunger Games books. This is definitely a must read. Moving on towards the middle, this book does have a lot of like the riots against the Capitol and, trying to overthrow the Capitol, which I think is kind of normal for these types of books because every single Hunger Games book, there is always something about trying to overthrow the Capitol in there. Another thing that I love about this book is it does have a lot of songs like all the books do, but what I love is that these songs correlate to the movies. So I really recommend watching the movies as well, because then when you're reading, the songs make a whole lot more sense and you don't have to just make up melodies to them like you sometimes would. So for example, the Ballad of Lucy Gray song is in there, the old There Before, and I believe the Hanging Tree song is in there as well. Another cool, interesting fact about this book is that it introduced the characters. Something else that I really found interesting about this book and that I loved is the fact that we get to see the characters Mags, Wiress, and Beetee in here. So if you can recall, these characters were first introduced back in the Catching Fire book. You'll know that Beetee was in a wheelchair, and I believe it was either Wiress or Mags, I can't remember right now, but one of them had the thing where they couldn't talk and all they could just say was tick tock, or something like that. So what I love about this book is we actually get to see them before their disabilities. And I really love the fact that we get to go more into Beetee, Wiress's, and Mag's life just a little bit, because even though the focus is on Haymitch, you still kind of get to introduce their characters a little bit and really get to know them before what happened to them. Speaking about what happened to them, I love that the book actually explains what happened to them, because I remember in Catching Fire, I always had that thought in the back of my mind about, what happened to them? Why is he in a wheelchair? Why is she stuck saying that? What happened? And so I love the fact that this book indirectly tells you what happened to them. So that's why I said you definitely have to read to the end of the book. I know I'm giving some spoilers. That's why I said if you don't want the spoilers, stop watching this video. Now for the ending of the book. The ending really had me in a chokehold, y'all. The ending is not really a big surprise because we all know Haymitch does win the games, obviously. If you pick this book up, you know he's going to win based off of the other books. But what I really love is it kind of tells you about his life after the games. And again, it makes a whole lot of things else make sense about him drinking and becoming an alcoholic, this and that, and about his family. When I was reading this, I honestly wanted to cry. I didn't, but I came very close. This book, it just hit me right here in my gut. Another really interesting thing that they threw in there was the character Plutarch. So again, back to referencing the other books, if you can remember, Plutarch was a game maker and he also was always on the rebel side. And what's really interesting is that it talks about how Plutarch has always been secretly on the rebel side. He was just waiting for the perfect people and opportunities to come along. And again, this shows just how much influence the Capitol really has and how deep everything runs. In these books, everything is connected. Nothing is coincidence. Everything has a sort of meaning in these books. And I think that's why these are some of my favorite books, just because everything is connected. Like I said, every single thing they do, every single plant name, every single song, it all has a deeper meaning, which is so well thought out. Honestly, I really love the way that Suzanne Collins just wrote this book and put so much thought into it just because of how, like I said, deep everything runs.
RDMS. Give me life, give me life.
So now that we've kind of covered the whole book, I just want to talk about the more trivial things. I got the hardcover and I got mine off of Amazon. I believe this was around $20-something. I'll put the exact price on the screen. I love the cover of it. I think it is so beautiful. This book has a whopping 382 pages. If you can tell by the size, it is pretty thick. That's why I'm surprised I read it within a week, but I am kind of a fast reader, and like I said, this book was just too good. I could not put it down. So now for my overall rating, I feel like you guys already know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I give this book a 10 out of 10 star review. I've always been a huge reader and a lover of books, but for the last 2 or 3 years, life has just been lifing, and I haven't really picked up a book in a long time. So this book actually got me back into reading. So like I said, I read this book a month ago, and since this book, I've read 4 more books. So I've read so many books, and this is the book that I have to thank for inspiring my love of reading again, which is also a little biased to why I love it so much. But besides my personal connection to this book, I do truly believe this is a great book. Even if you're not somebody that reads all the time or really likes to read, you will still love this book. I know a lot of people personally who hate reading, but every time a new Hunger Games book comes out, they're set for it. It's just something about these books that grabs you in, hooks you in, and has you ready to figure out what's gonna happen next. But that is it for my honest review and thoughts on the newest Hunger Game book, Sunrise on the Reaping. Make sure you guys let me know any of your discussions or thoughts in the comments below. I would love to have a little friendly discussion about your thoughts on the book. If you like me and you like what you see, then don't forget to subscribe down below and give this video a big thumbs up, because I post new videos every single Sunday. And if you aren't annoyed of me yet, then you can also keep up with me on my other social medias, which are going to be at the end of this video right in a second. Don't forget to also check out my description box below for all other relevant information, and again, to keep up more with me and what I'm doing. And I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!